Welcome to Around Town with Rotary. My name is Mike Harrington. The Beverly Rotary Club has been around for over 100 years now. We have over 90 members. This monthly show is a chance for us to highlight some of the really interesting people that are members of the Beverly Rotary Club and hear a little bit about what they do around town. I'd like to introduce my co-host, Al Temkin, who's going to introduce you today to our special guest.
Thank you, Mike.
Take it away, Al.
Thanks, Mike. It is my pleasure and my honor to introduce to you my friend and our current brand new Rotary president, Linda Turcotte. Linda, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate this.
Well, thanks for having me. I really appreciate being here. It's very exciting.
Well, it really is, and I think the millions upon millions of viewers that will be seeing this show will be very interested in hearing your plans, certainly as our new Rotary president. But also, we want to know a little bit about Linda Turcotte. So let me ask this question. What is it that brought you to the North Shore, and you're building a wonderfully successful real estate business here? Where did all that start? If you'd help us understand that.
Well, I was born right up the street.
So that's a good place to start. Okay.
I was born at Beverly Hospital, and I was born and raised in Beverly. My grandmother, Mary Bushy, was the police matron at the Beverly Police Department for about 30 years. My mom actually worked right up the street here when it was Beverly Housing Authority. She was the assistant executive director, and her brother Ed Bushy was senior vice president at Beverly National Bank. I think a lot of people knew Ed. He was actually one of the founders of Beverly Homecoming, which is what, 60-something years?
Something
this
like
year.
that. So it's up there, yeah.
Yeah, so I've been around a while.
Certainly have.
Don't tell anyone. I live in Danvers now.
Well, I happen to already know that. But now I know again you're an extremely successful real estate broker here on the North Shore. Broker, is that the right word, broker?
I'm a realtor.
Realtor, I'm sorry. But before that, tell us a little bit about your career before that.
Sure. So I spent about 30 years in the IT world. I worked for one company, but 5 different names. We were acquired, spun off, all the things that happen in the corporate world. But lucky for me, I kept my job throughout all that. But I was an account manager, so a lot of the skills that I learned when I worked for those various companies, I worked with a lot of senior officers at the financial institutions I worked with. I was responsible for keeping them referenceable, and when it came time for renewal, I worked through the contract. So like I said, a lot of the skills I learned during that job were transferable to my real estate career.
Awesome. That's awesome. Now, I don't interrupt, but weren't you housed in Texas with one of those companies for a while?
So initially, when I first started with the company, it was a small local institution in Boston, and 2 months after I started, they were acquired by a company out of Dallas. And then over time and various acquisitions, it eventually moved to Orlando, Florida. But I was remote. I didn't actually live in...
Oh, okay, okay.
No, no thank you.
I get that. I get it.
But I did travel a lot. A lot of my clients were not local. I did have some, but I was always on an airplane, New York. At one point, they assigned me a group of clients in Georgia. Just imagine that. I mean, me with my Boston accent with all the Southerners. So that was interesting.
Well, I was about to ask you, what inspired you to become a realtor? You had a long, successful, career number one, and then eventually you transitioned to career number 2. What inspired that? When did all that happen?
So my late sister-in-law was actually a real estate agent with Keller Williams. I spent a great deal of time with her when she was in treatment for breast cancer. And actually, both of my brothers one of my brothers was a part-time realtor, and the other one was a partner with my sister-in-law. So I did spend a great deal of time with my sister-in-law, and just, she's in treatment for cancer, and she's on the phone making deals. And but real estate was something that I was always very interested in. But I was afraid to make that leap because I had a good job, I had benefits, vacation time, and I left that all behind to basically be unemployed. So it was kind of scary, but it was the best thing I ever did.
Oh, great. So you've been so successful with it. What are some of the keys to success? You know, I think we all know different realtors, and some people are more busy and successful than others. What are some of the attributes that would lead someone to maybe be a really successful realtor like you?
There's just so much involved with it. I mean, just going through the whole process of the 40 hours of education and then taking the exam, and you walk out of the exam and you passed and you have 0 skills. So I was lucky that I joined Keller Williams and there was a lot of training involved. I mean, you have to learn how to market yourself. This is all in addition just to the real estate itself and, what's involved with the business end of it. But I think, getting involved with the chamber and now Rotary and different organizations helped me get back into the community. Because that was one thing I didn't like about my career in corporate. I just felt like I was very disconnected from the community I grew up in because I was traveling quite a bit. So. But as far as what attributes, it's every client is different, and you just have to adapt. Just be honest with them and try to keep the stress level down during the transaction because it's probably one of the most stressful things you're going to do in your life. So
Yeah,
I
gotta
just
stay on
try
the
to
even keel.
keep all the bad stuff behind the scenes and just give them a good experience.
Yeah, what are some things you like about being a realtor? It's so different than your earlier career because you're on your own and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure there's challenging days, but there's probably days you say, wow, I'm so glad I did this. What are some things you like about
Just
it?
about every day I say I'm so glad I did this. And you're right, there are some days that, oh no, you're working on problems, but I love working with people. And, there's like I said, all different situations. Working with first-time home buyers is so exciting. And when they finally get that house and just the excitement. And then, working with people who are downsizing or relocating. And, I mean, it's not all happy. There aren't, there's some circumstances where, someone's getting divorced or there's a death. But for the most part, it's very enjoyable.
That's awesome.
It is awesome. You touched on it a little bit with your last answer, but how would you say specifically has your business background helped you get more involved in the community?
I don't really know if my business, well, I was going to say I don't think it did, but I guess it did because I had to network with the clients and vendors and build relationships. So I guess that definitely helped that part of it.
Yeah, and I'm sure because you mentioned the Chamber of Commerce, Greater Beverly Chamber of Commerce, I know you're very active in, and past president, I think. Are you?
No, I have not.
Not yet. Not yet. You will be.
I'm on the board,
Yeah.
and I am the chair of the Power of Women Committee.
Yep. Yeah, it's only a matter of time. But I know that's been very helpful to you, and I know how much respect the Chamber, with my own involvement, has for you. And obviously the Rotary Club is the Rotary Club near and dear to your heart. Now, speaking of that, you're obviously very involved in the club, you're very involved in Chamber. What other civic type of things are you involved with?
So actually, within the Realtor Association, they have several committees, just like every other organization. And one of the committees that I've been involved in since almost when I first started, when I first got my licenses, there's a committee called Community Involvement and Investment Group. And I actually chaired that one year. And that's just another way to help give back to the community. Some of the other things, Ellis Square Friends, I'm a big supporter of that group. I know you're familiar with them. They're nonprofit. They rely totally on donations, sponsors, and volunteers. So I do what I can to help there.
And you're very involved with the Jimmy Fund. Is it the Jimmy Fund Walk? Or
Yes. So as I mentioned, my late sister-in-law, back in 2012, I did my very first Jimmy Fund Walk with my sister-in-law. She, at that time, had been in treatment for breast cancer for about 5.5 years. Unfortunately, about 6 months later, she did pass away. So I stayed on the same team for that year, and then the following year started my own team in her name, and as well as my good friend Jan, her brother Patrick had also passed away from cancer, so our team is Maureen and Patrick's Troopers. So in 2014, that's when our team started, and since then we've raised over $200,000 for Dana-Farber Cancer Institute.
Good work.
Our funds, the funds raised by my team are actually directed to her oncologist, Dr. Harold Burstein, in her name.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for doing that.
Well,
you're
it's
welcome.
great that it's that specific and that designated too. That makes it closer to home. 'Cause
It really
I'm sure that
does.
was a difficult time for you and your family when you lost her. In general, what motivates you to give back to the community? I know your job keeps you busy, your realtor business, but you give back a lot too. What are some of the underlying things that really motivate you to say, gee, it's worth my time?
Well, I had a good role model, my mother.
Yeah.
She was always doing things to give back, and again, my uncle Ed Bushy, just seeing the things he did within the community, and it just I don't know, it sounds corny, but it gives me great joy to do that. So I definitely try to find the time to do what I can in giving back.
Yeah. Well, most of us have been helped along the way by different people, and I think, what goes around comes around.
Definitely.
And, I think a lot of us growing up, we were inspired by watching the people we knew and loved that did stuff like that, whether it's coach the Little League team or be on the PTO or whatever, and it becomes
Exactly.
kind of part of what you're used to doing. So hopefully the more all of us do things like that, the next generation will see all that stuff happening
That's
as
for
well.
sure.
Well, folks at home, the Beverly Rotary Club does lots of really interesting things. We're going to take a short break here, just for a couple of minutes. We're going to run a video that highlights some of the great things around town that our Rotary Club has done to support the local community. We'll see you back on the other side in just a few moments. Thank you.
We raise a lot of money for Beverly organizations.
And they bought us our refrigerated van.
They made a significant contribution to the restoration of Ellis Square.
They helped us house a family experiencing homelessness.
They bought us our bookmobile.
They were actually the first ones to donate instruments to the high school band.
They bought oxygen masks for our rescue dogs.
They helped buy our school bus.
They fund the annual Brad Gage Ice Cream Social at Lynch Park every summer, and they even scoop the ice cream.
Since 2014, they've supported the Cabot, funding preservation of this historic gem.
They helped to fund the Council on Aging van.
They were a major donor to our new infant toddler playground.
They bought an emergency generator for Harbor Lighthouse.
We funded and built the gazebo.
And we've got a green thumb.
A lot of green thumbs.
A lot of green thumbs.
Not to mention sculptures.
We planted more than 100 trees last year.
They donated a shuttle bus stop that brings veterans to the VA hospital in Bedford.
We're going to buy a water drone to clean plastics out of Beverly Harbor.
They make a big difference for United Way.
We give up to 8 scholarships.
8 scholarships every year since the mid-1980s.
And I was a recipient, and thanks to their help, I was the first in my family to go to college.
It's more than just a local organization.
There are 33,000 clubs
in 200 countries with 1.2 million members worldwide.
All that good adds up.
Those do-gooders just keep doing good.
We funded 13 wells in Kisumu, Kenya, bringing water to 13 schools.
We contributed to Kalusha School in Pakistan, and later to the construction of a fabulous women's college.
Hi, I'm Izzy Polito.
I'm Mirabella Polito. I'm Andrea Polito. And we're all youth exchange students.
We started the youth exchange program 13 years ago, partly because I was also an exchange student in 1979.
I'm Aku. I'm from Finland. They hosted me as an exchange student.
We funded Dr. Gordon Sato of Hamilton, who devised a way to grow trees in salt water in Senegal, Mauritania, and Eritrea.
Our club has funded at least 20 life-changing surgeries around the world.
And we've participated as non-medical volunteers
in the Philippines,
in Bolivia,
and Venezuela.
And remember,
since launching the Polio Plus campaign over 30 years ago, the number of polio cases worldwide has dropped 99%.
In 2019, clubs in the district joined the Polar Plunge to eradicate polio. The clubs raised $90,000.
Can we get back to Beverly, please?
Over the past 10 years, we've raised, probably about $100,000.
Try $400,000.
Over the past 10 years, we've raised over $1 million.
I have made some wonderful friends.
It's downright inspiring.
It's an important part of my week.
It's a very important part of my week.
Sometimes it's the best part of my week.
It's one of the best things I do.
Even if people still ask about the secret handshake.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Al Temkin. I'm here working with my partner in crime, Mike Harrington, and we're with Linda Turcotte today, who is the brand newly installed president of the Beverly Rotary Club, sharing her background and her thoughts about our community. Let's talk a little bit about Rotary. We haven't touched on that just yet, Linda. How long have you been a member, and how was it that you got involved with the Rotary Club?
So I joined in 2022. You know, a lot of people, like especially people in the chamber, there's a big crossover between the chamber and Rotary, but you know, a lot of people had said you should get involved with Rotary, and Sean Gaudreau invited me to a meeting, and I'll never forget that meeting. It was the Christmas meeting, or the holiday meeting, where the band, the jazz band from Beverly High came in, and it was just so festive, and everybody was happy and having a good time, and so I just kept coming back and learn more about Rotary and the things that Rotary does. And I said, all right, I'm joining. So if the funny thing is, I was, the day I was, I don't know what the right word is, installed or whatever, into the club, I was traveling. Keller Williams has a conference every year, and I happened to be traveling to the conference. So I was on by Zoom on the Logan Express bus going to the airport. But I was really grateful that Sean invited me to that meeting, and the rest is history. It's been a great experience.
Well, we're lucky to have you.
Sean also being a past president of our club.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So I know that a lot of you viewing have heard of the Beverly Rotary Club, certainly. But a lot of times I think people kind of lose track of what is it? Like, what does it do? So can you kind of fill our viewers in relative to what is it that the Rotary Club does here in the community?
So Beverly Rotary and Rotary in general, it's not a networking organization, it's a service organization. So we do things like we fundraise so we can give money and do things in the community. So one of the biggest things we do every year is we give out around $30,000 in scholarships to Beverly students, not necessarily Beverly High School, but students that reside in Beverly that are seniors and moving on. Also, for students that are already in college, they can also apply. We do grants for nonprofits, and then we do service projects within the community, and I think that's probably my favorite thing. Connor Mooney, who was the president before me, started a new service project last year, and I'm planning on continuing that, and it's a day of volunteering with Ellis Square Friends. When they do their meals on Thursdays, they have shifts all throughout the day. I believe they start at like 10 in the morning and go through 7 at night. So we'll have different members will sign up for different shifts throughout the day, and then we'll make a donation to them as well. So
awesome.
And then next week is I think homecoming just started, didn't it?
It starts on Sunday, I think.
So next Thursday, the 6th, is Senior Day in the Park, and for many years now, Beverly Rotary has donated funds for them to purchase. That used to be an ice cream social, but now it's ice cream sandwiches, and the Rotary Club will donate towards those, and several members will be down at Lynch Park handing them out.
So very visible around town, helping out in lots of great ways.
Yeah, thanks
exactly.
For that. That's good. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, the Rotary Club's been around for a long time now. We actually celebrated our 100th anniversary a couple years ago as a club, so it's over 100 years old, 90 different members, men and women from all different backgrounds. So the world has changed quite a bit. Back in the old days, it was just men. Obviously, luckily now it's men and women. But you know, now that you've been through PETS or you've been through your training and you're new president, what are some of the things you think that keep Rotary relevant in 2026 and beyond?
I think it's, it definitely has evolved over time, but I think it just goes back to the service aspect, and that people people want to be involved and want a way to give back. And I mean, through Rotary, you have so much opportunity to do that. One of the things I'm really proud of that we did this year is, again, I was going to say homecoming, but the Beverly 400, there's a major project down at Independence Park, and there's panels that are being installed, and Rotary donated towards that installation. I can't wait to see what that looks like.
It's amazing. The construction they're doing down there now is just awesome, and it's going to provide a lot of opportunities for more people to use that park.
Exactly, yes.
That's terrific. Hey, you know, Rotary, I'm sure not everybody knows, is an international organization, and there's thousands of Rotary chapters in cities all over the world. One of the things that Rotary International is best known for is their work to eradicate polio. And that's been going on for quite a while, and luckily we've had a lot of success with that. But why is that still relevant? And you want to talk a little bit about that?
I'm glad you mentioned that, because actually when I first joined Rotary, and I remember one of the fundraisers, and it wasn't just our club, there were several clubs that did a polar plunge, and it was to raise money for polio. And I thought to myself, why are we raising money for polio? Well, it still exists in certain parts of the world. I would say 99% it's been eradicated, but you know, if we don't get it 100%, it could come back, and it could come back worldwide. So that's very important that, you know, we keep on that mission. And it really became relevant and personal to me back several months ago. We had a gentleman from, I believe, the Danvers Rotary Club, as well as our member, Carlos, that spoke to the club about polio, that both of them had polio as a child. And I didn't know that about Carlos. So hearing him both of them, hearing them tell their stories, it was just incredible. So that, again, made it much more meaningful to me and more personal. And that one of my goals this year is to get members of our club to be part of the Polio Plus Society.
It was also really inspiring to see Carlos and this other gentleman had polio. What very accomplished careers they have.
Oh, it's
you know,
amazing.
Despite the fact they had this challenge physically, you know, it was like they just, you know, powered right through it and had amazing careers. So thank goodness that people have that kind of a spirit. But it is a very important initiative, even now in 2026.
Of course. Absolutely.
But he's here, and you're right, he's an amazing story. Mike and I had the pleasure of interviewing him, I think it was 2 interviews ago. And it's for those of you that have not seen that show, we would recommend you go back and take a look at it. It's extremely inspiring. So let's get back to you again. Again, congratulations on being our new president this year, and thank you for stepping up and taking on that responsibility. Curious as to what is it that's in your mind about how you hopefully can make a difference with our 90+ members of our club this year?
Well, it's not so much about me. I want to involve members more, and you know, I want the members to feel like they're involved and they're part of this whole organization and the things that we do. I have talked to a social worker at DCF, and we're actually going to do an ice cream social with some foster children as well.
Oh, cool.
So I'm looking forward to that. Just trying to come up with some new ideas for things we can do in the community as far as service projects. You know, I want to leave the club in better shape than I got it. So I hope I can accomplish that.
Knowing you as I do, young lady, I think that's a given. That's just absolutely a given, and I know that you will do that. Can you tell us a little bit more? So the ice cream social with DCF, that's awesome. I think that you'll have a bunch of people step up for that.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the other thoughts about fundraisers and events and things that you're thinking about for this year?
So our big fundraiser is usually in the spring, late winter, early spring. So Jackie and Jackie's our secretary, we actually started working on my fundraiser before I became president, because we had something in mind we wanted to do. So April I'll probably get the date wrong, April 3rd, I think it is, and 27. We're having a fundraiser at Danversport with a local band called Fortune. They've been around almost 40 years. They have a huge following. And we have a special guest that'll be joining them that evening, Barry Gaudreau from the band
cool.
Boston. So
Cool.
that's our big fundraiser. We have other things planned throughout the year, but that's what brings in the most money. Well, we
Yeah.
have our turkey raffle. The turkey raffle in November, well, it actually starts before then, but we do a video that goes along with the raffle. It's always very humorous. Dave Olson's planning that right now. So we raffle off a 40-plus pound turkey and the industrial-sized pan to serve it in. So that usually brings in quite a bit of money. So those are some of the highlights.
Awesome.
Well, it's going to be a fun year.
It is.
Hey, one of the important things with any Rotary president is to keep membership flowing. You know, it's just natural that some people will age out or whatever, so it's always important to bring in new people. What are some of your thoughts about that? It's important that the club bring in membership. Do you have any thoughts around ways or tactics you're going to use to keep doing that?
So again, just following in Connor's footsteps, last year he did a Discover Rotary Day, and he had a speaker that day, and everyone was asked to invite people to come to that meeting. So I'm working on a big speaker. I can't say who it is because it hasn't been confirmed yet, so I'm hoping that I can get confirmation on that and bring in a lot of people to see what we're all about and have them, you know, encourage them to come back, not just to come that day. So there will be a lot of follow-up after that day. I know that last year we had, unfortunately I wasn't there the day they did Discover Rotary Day, but from what I understand, it was quite successful.
Very successful.
And you're right, we do have to stop bringing in new members because we do have an aging membership, so.
Oh, especially when you get to his age. Right.
Hey, don't talk about him, because look right here.
Well, I think when people experience Rotary, that they kind of get a sense of what it's all about. But to actually be at a meeting or be at an event is really great. And it's funny how people get exposed to Rotary. We have a lot of people on this show and say, hey, how did you even get exposed to it? And usually they kind of come in sideways, you know. They get, somebody grabs them by the arm and says, hey, you got to come to lunch with me here today. And one thing leads to another, and they, they become a devoted Rotarian.
I think, when people come and they see what a great group of people we are, and we do have fun. I mean, it's not just about, the fundraising and the grants and the scholarships. We have fun doing it.
That's true.
I don't.
And some long-lasting relationships get built.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Yeah. And this is one of them,
yes,
actually.
For sure.
Yeah.
Hey, really quickly, the Rotary International theme this year is create lasting impact. What does that mean to you when you think about your particular year here in Beverly?
I want to make sure that the things that we do go beyond today. I'll go back to the Independence Park project. That's something that's going to be there for years and years, long after we're gone. So that's what it means to me. Just, not just to do something for today, but something that's going to last for a long time.
Is there anything that you have thought about or you would like to think more about relative to your legacy when your year ends, in the years ahead?
Oh, boy.
Thinking back on your year as president. So you'll have this project that'll be there forever.
Two things that I hope that that the membership grows during my time as president, and getting more members as part of that Polio Plus Society. That means a lot to me.
Awesome. Well said. Well said. That's awesome. Terrific. Well, you know what, Linda, let me just take a moment here and thank you for joining us. We've really, really enjoyed this. I think I speak for Mike and probably for the whole club when I say, again, thank you for stepping up as our president. We're excited and looking forward to just a wonderfully successful year with you as our leader.
Thank you.
And for those of you that are watching that would like to have more information about the Beverly Rotary Club and learn more about all the great things that we do right here in the community, please visit us at beverlyrotaryclub.com or .com. .com, I think.
Okay.
beverlyrotaryclub.com. All the information you need is there, or certainly any one of the approximately 100 Rotarians that you bump into on the street or you may know would certainly would not mind sitting down, having a cup of coffee with you and enticing you to maybe join us one day for a lunch. And with that being said, again, thank you so much, Linda. Mike, it's always a pleasure to work with you. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy the rest of your summer, and thank you for tuning in.